Welcome, Middlers, to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I take you on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual exploration. I am a Reiki master teacher, a spiritual and business mentor, and of course, a psychic medium. And I am here to share my story and help you tap into your extraordinary abilities. Join me every Wednesday as we dive into the realms of intuition, energy healing, and all things mystical. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just dipping your toes into the magical waters, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration, guidance, and a whole lot of lessons and laughter along the way. Let's get started. Hello, Middlers. Welcome back to the Medium in the Middle podcast. This is episode 255, and today I am sharing a mediumship story with you. Do as I say, not as I do. I always recommend not doing mediumship while under the influence, but Medium in the Middle was out at the bar, and I read for someone, and I'm going to share the story with you because it was actually really nice. So a little cutie mediumship story for you today. But before we jump into that, I just got asked a really good question. I was on Instagram Live setting up for the podcast. As a reminder, Medium in the Middle is my only account. I will never DM you. Beware of scammers. All my business is done directly on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. But someone was asking me about my monthly mediumship practice circles, and they were like, I'm so scared. I just have to muster up the courage to attend. And something that I like to think about is worst case scenario. And if you think about the worst case scenario about joining a practice circle is, okay, let's say nothing comes through. You get absolutely nothing. You sit there for 10 minutes staring at the person and no information comes through. Okay, fine. And then you're like, hey, I'm not getting anything. So then you and your partner maybe will just talk shop for, another 10 minutes and share experiences, and maybe they give you some tips, and then you receive a reading. So you still will get guidance from me, you'll still receive a reading, and you'll still get to ask questions, and you'll still get to see what worked, what didn't work. I've had no one tell me that nothing has come through before, but usually they still end up having a good conversation with their partner. So worst case scenario is, fine, nothing happens. But what, are you never going to practice just in case nothing happens? So that's what I always tell myself in my brain. I'm like, what's the worst case scenario? Nothing happens. So if you want to join my next mediumship practice circle, everyone is a little bit nervous when they join. It's okay, we're practicing. It's this Thursday, the 27th, and it is a 6 p.m. circle, so an evening one. The one in March is on the 15th, Saturday at 11 a.m., but I do the monthly circles every month whenever you're ready to take the plunge. The only way to get on the horse is to get on the horse. We have to practice. So I'll be doing a whole other episode about practicing. But we're going to talk about mediumship today, so let's talk about it. Reiki trainings, just quickly, the next Reiki level 2 is March 8th and 9th. There's still 2 spots left in that course. And the March level 1 just sold out, so the April level 1 is happening April 12th and 13th if you want to jump on that one. And the next level 2 is April 26th, 27th. So Reiki courses are selling out faster this year, so when the date works for you, it might just be your time. And there's no card reading today. I surprised my Instagram and launched a flash sale card reading for tomorrow. So I'm saving all my card juju for those recordings that I'm doing tomorrow. I always launch things to my story viewers first, and when it's something limited edition like that, it sold out so quickly. Just keep an eye on my stories. I'm like Taylor Swift leaving Easter eggs everywhere. If you want something limited edition, it's going to be in my Instagram stories. So I am going to start off this episode with a disclaimer, as a lot of my episodes have, with a don't try this at home, folks. I know you will, and nothing bad will happen. Honestly, it's just when you do readings under the influence of drugs or alcohol, I find that your boundaries go away. So because you don't have boundaries, I like to think about energy as like dirt. So you get more dirty and then you have to clear, and then you probably won't fall asleep that night because you'll be full of energy that you didn't clear. And then the next day you'll feel hungover from the energy because you didn't clear it. So it's just like you're rolling around in mud. So I don't recommend it, but I know what happens. And it is a little bit easier because after a bottle of wine, your mind shuts off. You're not thinking about, all of the things that you're regularly thinking about. Most people find it's a lot easier because it's like you get out of your own way finally. You're like, oh, I have this person here, and what about this, and what about this? And you're just easily saying whatever's coming to your mind. So we want to get to that state in soberness and sobriety as well. You want to be able to shut your mind off and get out of your own way without drugs or alcohol. But wine helps. So a boundary that I have is definitely if I'm going out drinking, I make sure that my boundaries are on. I make sure that my volume is off. I like sit myself down and put myself in a little pep talk like, Steph, like, don't start going today, because as soon as I start reading, it's just like da 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 da, and I don't want to do that. So I always mindfully shut it off. And if anyone talks about it, I don't even like to talk about it, because if I'm drinking, people are always like, well, read me. Well, what do you pick up on me? And again, if I don't have my boundaries up, I will read you. So it's happened more than once that I've been, usually Christmas party season. I'm like, oh, your dad has passed? Interesting. So this is what happened. I was at our local bar here in Banff, the best one in all the land. And I was talking to a friend of mine, a friend that I've known for a very long time. And he was talking about how he's going home for Christmas. And he was like, I haven't been home for Christmas in so long. Like, my family's going to be so excited. I'm going to see my dad. I'm going to see my siblings. I'm going to see this person. I'm going to see this person. And I think the conversation started with someone asking, and I don't know if it was me or my friend, but one of us said, what about your mom? And he said, well, my mom is dead. And we were both like shoved our foot in our mouths, and we were like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. Like, and I was thinking about it too, because I have other friends that this has happened where they have a dead parent and you don't know about it. Like, in your adult life, you're not like, hi, nice to meet you. So these are the people that are dead in my life. And it hasn't really come up in conversation. So it was really interesting when he was like, oh yeah, my mom has passed. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't know that. So then he like half rolled up his sleeve and he was like, yeah, this tattoo is for her. And I couldn't really see the tattoo because it was dark out and it was like kind of blurry, and he just like half lifted up his sleeve. And then I like looked at him and I smiled and I was like, what happened 20 years ago? I was like, has she been gone for 20 years? And he was like, he looked at me with like the face that everyone gives you when you say something right. He was like, yeah, she's been gone for 20 years. And it was like, I forget what month, but it was this year. And then he like pulls up his sleeve even further. And then he has the dates on the tattoo of like when she died. He's like, see, she passed away in this year. And he like did some quick math. He's like, yeah, it's 20 years. And I was like, oh. He was like, how'd you know that? And I said, oh, like my friend's name. I was like, He's like, yeah. He's like, but you never done it to me. He's like, I didn't know. How'd you know that stuff? And I was like, this is what they pay me the big bucks for. And I was like, oh, like now your mom's kind of talking. And he's into this stuff. Like, I have a few friends that aren't into it, but I have also a few friends that are like very supportive and they're like, I'm into it. Like they never said like read me, but if I have a story or they're always interested. So I know that this person is interested in this. And I was like, okay, your mom's talking about someone's birthday. That was just last week. I was like, whose birthday was it last week? And he was like, my sister's birthday was last week. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay, she's also telling me something about a tree. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. I was like, but all I'm seeing is a tree and it feels relevant. So I'm not sure how it's relevant. And he smiles at me again. And he goes, I fell out of a tree when I was a kid and have a scar in my arm. He's like, and I put the tattoo on that scar. He's like, the tattoo for my mom is on the scar of when I fell out of a tree when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I should stop. Like, we're at a bar. And he's like, oh no. He's like, that's okay. That's okay. And I was like, no. I was like, your mom's happy that you're going home for Christmas for sure. And like, say to your sister that she says happy birthday. And I think a few other things came through that are kind of fuzzy. But we had a really cute moment. We were in the corner and he was like, oh, that's so nice. He's like, I know that you do this stuff, but you've never done it to me. And it's like cool that you got all those things right. And I was like, yeah. And I was like thinking like that was only a few things. Like that wasn't even that cool, like in the scale of coolness, you know? But he was stoked on it. And then I was like, we should stop talking about this. And it was just this like cute moment where his mom came in real quick right around Christmas time to validate, you know, the 20 years, the birthday, where the tattoo is. So also like validating his tattoo. And he was kind of like, oh, cool, Steph. Like I got to kind of experience a little bit. And now every time I see him, he's always like, that was really cool that you were able to get those things from my mom. Like he's kind of like stoked on it. So it's just so nice to have these experiences. And whole world, don't get angry at me, but I will do readings for my friends. So if you are my friend and something like this happens at a bar, because I have a long list of these, I do usually say like, hey, if you want to like do the full shebang, like let's set something up, come see me and I'll read for you. So I did tell him that, and I was like, you know what, if you ever want to do the whole thing, like let's do it, because yeah, like I didn't know your mom was passed away. I didn't know it's been 20 years. Now I do, but obviously the bar is not the setting that we want to be in, but it is how it came up in conversation. So being friends with a medium is an interesting one. So I guess the tip I want to leave you with is that if you do pick up things when you are out having a few wines with friends and something slips through or something comes up, I recommend saying it and, you know, get whatever they said, whatever spirit said to you, you know, communicate that. But then I would highly, highly recommend you like press pause and return to that conversation when you're both sober, just to work in integrity, be respectful of everything, make sure that no boundaries are crossed, make sure it's consent all around. Everyone says yes, everyone wants this, and you can actually give a good reading. So if it does come up, I will usually say a few things like I did, and then I'm like, hey, you know, we should stop this. If you want more, let's actually like meet for coffee and do the thing, or let's never talk about this again, whatever you prefer. So I just find that, especially with consent and respect for everyone involved, it's not the environment that you want to start talking about it. So always be mindful when you're also delivering messages where you are. Number one, consent is always important. Again, me and my friend have talked about this many, many times. He knows what I do for work. He likes to hear stories, like we talk about it. I would say he supports me very well. And also, right before I started going, I was like, is it okay if we do this with your mom right now? He's like, yeah. Like, what else do you got? What else do you got? So I always say, like, be sensitive to the environment that you're in, and also always, always, always ask consent. And I have a whole episode coming around consent as well. But consent does not mean, oh, your grandma's here. Do you want the messages from her? That makes it very difficult for someone to say no. So you want to, at the beginning of something. So if you're doing Reiki, if you're doing massage, if you're doing, I don't know, whatever you're doing, at the beginning you say, hey, I'm also a medium. If at any time during your massage spirit comes up, do you want that today? Or do you just want me to stick to the massage? Because I can do either or, but I always like to ask. So I always, if I'm asking someone yes or no, I like to say the options of yes and no. So I'll say, do you want the messages today? Or would you rather that I not and I just keep them to myself? You know what? Not today. Thank you. Great. No problem. So I don't want to say, oh, I'm a medium. If I get messages, do you want them? Because we know that people have a hard time saying no, and I never want someone to receive a message uncomfortably. So I'm always going to like give you no as an option and like make it a very easy option. Like, oh, and we don't have to do that today if you don't want to. And it's totally okay if you don't want me to. And I can also keep my mouth shut if you just need a relaxing hour. Always, always we ask before. So consent is very, very, very important. So that's a little mediumship story I wanted to share with you today. I hope you liked it. I will leave all the links you need to book with me down below in the show notes if you want to register for a monthly mediumship practice circle, if you are ready to take a Reiki training, or if you want to book with me in person or in Banff, Alberta, come see me. All the links are down below and on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. If you haven't already, subscribe. I release new episodes every Wednesday. And I would love and appreciate a rating and a review wherever you are listening. It really helps the podcast out. But until next Wednesday, Middlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.